In. Hey, Matthew, how's it going?
How you doing, Shaun?
Yeah, doing fantastic. Just let me tell the viewers, British actor Matthew left the UK many years ago to conquer the US, residing in Texas. He saw firsthand how the industry has changed, how Hollywood has gone woke, and if there is any hope. And we are, just before we get into this, we are a heavily censored channel. They are watching us, so we can't talk about the pandemic, the vaccines,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I've got to steer you away from that. But
Yeah.
could you just give the viewers a little bit of your backstory before we get into the hot issues, please?
Oh, you mean I'm an actor, so you want me to talk about myself? I think it's going to take longer than half an hour, I can tell you. No, I mean, I just, I grew up on a council estate back in the UK. Wanted to be an actor my whole life. I mean, it wasn't really something that you ever think is going to happen. I thought I was going to be doing theatre and all that. Managed to get a break, did Coronation Street over there, and that was very good for me. And then I had a fleeting music career, and then I did a movie with Michael Caine that then got me to come over to America. And my first movie over here was this one beyond, was Black Hawk Down. And then I went on from there, did a bunch of big movies, and that's basically it. Very lucky guy. Was in the right place at the right time a bunch of times, and I had a little bit of talent to kind of get me there. And then I just had enough of California about 3 years ago and left and moved to Texas. I just couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. Too crazy. So that's about it, really. That's my story, pretty much.
Which does generate some follow-up questions. Wow, from a council estate to Black Hawk Down. That's phenomenal. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Whereabouts in the UK were you?
So I have to be careful with this, because if ever I say, like, certainly for Americans, if I say I'm from the Midlands, like right in the middle near Birmingham, everyone from the Black Country, which is where I'm really from, are like, oh, you didn't say you're from the Black Country. So I'm from this place called the Utree Estate, which is, it's kind of weird because it borders West Bromwich and Walsall, for those of you that know that area. So I'm from there, basically. That's where I grew up. My mom was a single parent, and yeah, I mean, I just had a dream of becoming an actor. I think it was, I love the Rocky movies, which was, they were really inspiring for me, which was kind of strange years later to be saving Rambo's life. So it's all a bit trippy, mate. All a bit trippy. You're kind of like, So yeah. I mean, ended up over here. Love it in America. I know you've spent a few years over here yourself, but I really love it. It's I really got a sense of what freedom really is over here, and Texas is the home of that. So I eventually moved here like 3 years ago.
You give me flashbacks, Matthew, because I grew up on Coronation Street. I was born in '68,
right?
And I still can't get that theme tune out of my head. That
yeah. Yeah, I never used to watch it, actually. Believe it or not, I was an EastEnders fan. I always used to watch EastEnders, and when I got into Corrie, it was very, very weird. But it was an amazing thing. And what's funny, especially with the UK press, when I left Coronation Street, because I always saw myself as just an actor, I was a jobbing actor. I did one thing, then I wanted to move to something else, and doing Coronation Street was so massive, especially at that period of time when I was in 97 to 98. Like, so I was actually at my first episode on March the 3rd, 1997, which was my birthday. And the next day, everything changed. And there used to be 19 million people watch that show when I was in it. And it was instant fame. Very, very strange experience. You're not really kind of built to cope with that. It's like getting a lot of money young, getting a lot of fame young. It kind of messes with you a little bit. And so it was weird. And then moving to LA and being in all these movies with all these people that you grow up watching, again, another kind of surreal experience, but different in the sense that people kind of left you alone over in the US. So I couldn't go to Sainsbury's when I was on Coronation Street. It was just a nightmare. And then he, oddly enough, did bigger movies over here and became kind of less famous, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's kind of strange experience.
So I was in America from 91 to 2007, so I missed those Corrie episodes. So were you a goodie or were you a villain? What was your role?
I was a goodie. I think I was a goodie. I think I was mainly known for having an affair with Sally Webster. But I was the good guy because her husband Kevin was having an affair anyway, and so I came in and I was the good guy. But again, I wanted to be in it for 1 year. I didn't want to be in it any longer. And when I left, it's funny because the press was like, "Oh, he thinks he's too big for current." That wasn't it at all. I just wanted to move on. I didn't want to be in that show, although I loved it. Everyone was great on it, and the fans are amazing. I wanted to challenge myself and do other things, which I've done. So
you wasn't a Dirty Den type character.
I wasn't a Dirty Den. No, I wasn't a Dirty Den. No, I was a good dude.
So what year did you go to the States?
So I came over here first in 2000, and that's where I got Black Hawk Down. And so it was my first film in America, which was like, I was kind of like, well, I should have done this ages ago. Being in a double Oscar winning Ridley Scott movie. Was
that your first movie then?
It was my first movie over here. Yeah, I did a movie with Michael Caine. Yeah, I know. It was just crazy, and it was kind of like the British invasion. Then, if you look at that movie, there's a bunch of us in there that are Brits, and we just blew the doors open on Hollywood after I did a movie with Michael Caine. So yeah.
So my ego was as big as the Grand Canyon when I was running around in Arizona as a Brit. They roll out the red carpet, hear your accent, throwing parties. How did you keep your ego in check?
You know what? I think my mom, as I was growing up, she was always like, "Be humble, be humble, be humble," and that was kind of like in me from a very young age. So I know that some people will think you're an egomaniac. It's funny because, just getting into the podcasting, I didn't really want to do it because I'm like, who wants to listen to me? I'm just a meat puppet, that's out there doing other people's words. But I think it's, I never really saw myself anything other than a working class kid from a council estate that was just very lucky to do what I do. I know that it can go at any minute. And I know that there are other people that could replace me that are as good, if not better than me. So I just felt I was always very, very grateful of every single thing that I had. So, I think you and I are kind of different trajectories. I mean, you were a phenomenon, a phenom from when you were 16, right? So, and again, when you start making money like that and you get into that world, it is easy to get sucked in. Right, it's really easy to get sucked in, and I don't think people truly understand when these things open for you how easy it is to step through that door. Right, it's just it's there, and you might feel invincible, but for me, I always felt like I don't know. There was I don't know whether it's that Irish Catholic guilt that stopped me a lot of the time, but no, I always felt like I was very lucky, and I still do. I feel like I'm very lucky to have done what I've done, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I don't know what it was that stopped me from going off the rails, but I don't know. I guess I did somehow.
Were you single when you arrived in America? Were you getting invited to parties?
Yes.
Did you have any? What? Which one?
No, I mean, yes, I was single, and yes, I was invited to a lot of parties. But I was getting to that point because when I was in Coronation Street, it was so insane. Like, you actually end up feeling very lonely, and I actually felt very, very alone because you realize that. I mean, I don't know if it was like it for you. Initially you're like, oh, everybody likes me. I'm a great guy. And then you realize, actually, no, they want something from you. Like, everyone wants something from you. And when you can't give them that anymore, or if you don't please them in the way that they want, then they turn on you. So I ended up feeling very lonely. And when I went over to the States, of course, I mean, I'd go to go to the Maxim party. I was invited to the Vanity Fair party for the Oscars. So the first Oscars I ever went to, we won 2 Oscars for this thing here behind. And that was kind of trippy. I was there, and you look around and all these people there that you've watched on television. And then all of a sudden you realize, well, hang on a minute, I'm in the mix now. Like, I'm one of them. if you know what I mean. I mean, I might not have been at that level of, you know, Guy Ritchie or whatever, but you were going to all those same parties. And I remember that the night before the Oscars, I got invited to my agent's house. And I remember, like, it was so weird, you know, it was so trippy. And I went and I had a drink. I got introduced to Nicole Kidman, and my agent came up and he goes, she's not got a date for tomorrow night. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. And then, you know what, Sean, honestly, I remember, like, they have these things called, I don't know if they have them in the UK now. You know, there's love sacks. They're like these giant, big, cushiony things that you can sit back on. And I was like so drunk because I was so like, this is so weird. And I remember like dropping back. And then this girl like comes and sits next to me, and she starts talking to me, and we have a great conversation. And, you know, she's saying like, oh, this is, you know, these things never get like kind of normal and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized it's Renee Zellweger, right? Like, she's hammered as well, like right next to me. And we're in the library of this beautiful Hollywood house, just chatting about that stuff. So yeah, I mean, a lot of that was kind of was weird. And yeah, I did get invited to a lot of parties, but and then shortly after I met my wife, so then I was kind of tamed. Yeah, the tiger was tamed quite shortly after my my first couple of years in Hollywood.
So there's a lot of conspiracy theories pertaining to what happens at these parties in Hollywood. Did you?
I didn't eat any babies. I didn't. The babies were not on the menu. No, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, Sean, I never saw any of that. I mean, I certainly, the deals are made there, right? Like, I remember, so I'd gone up for a show that will remain nameless, and I'd gone and met the producers and the director and everything, and the director was the showrunner. You know, the showrunner is the person that basically makes all the decisions. And I'd met them like literally the day before, and I'm at this party, and one of the producers there, and he's like, "Hey, Matt," and I'm like, "Hey," and he goes, "I hate to tell you, man, you're not getting the role." And I was like, "Shit," like, and he goes, "But nobody is, because the show is just been cancelled." Right. So I think that, you know, when you are in those environments, you get to mix with all the people at the top levels. So, you know, if you're a big movie actor and there's a director there, you're going to meet them, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do this film?" And the actor might go, "Oh, what's it about?" Blah, blah, blah. "Yes, I'll do it." So there's a lot of those deals done at those parties that kind of greases the wheels. It gets past the agents, you know, so the agents aren't actually blocking them. So the directors and the actors will talk to one another, or an actor will say, "Hey, do you want to come and do this?" And so there's a lot of that. But I never saw any of the dodgy stuff. Like, never. I didn't see any dodgy stuff at all at any of those parties.
Were you invited to become a Freemason, anything like that?
No. No. I mean, I've been, you know, there's a couple of people that, you know, that they'll sniff around you, like, they want to know certain things about you. I mean, certainly they want to. There's certainly been times when people have been testing out, like, whether I'm gay or not. I mean, that definitely was one of the things, or whether or not I did. You know, I'd be open to, you know, going and dating certain people, as I told you. But, you know, nothing. I mean, people will do that when you're in a bar, you know, so, or down the pub. So nothing really. I mean, but I'm very much a kind of straightforward kind of person, you know. So I don't know if I give off the wrong kind of vibes. You know what I mean? But I certainly know that through talking to other people, that there's shady stuff going on, without a doubt. Like, I've spoken to people that have experienced it as well.
Within the confines of YouTube's community guidelines, are you able to expand on that or describe any of that?
I just know, you know, when the Me Too movement came out, when that came out, I'd spoken to a guy that was married to a famous actress, and said that she was put into a really, really bad situation. I know that's very nebulous, but yeah, I mean, she was put into. I don't want to betray that person's trust, but they were put into a very, very difficult situation, and they'd made it quite clear to other people that it had happened, and nobody cared. No, like that didn't care. Nobody cared at all. And there's certainly, I spoke to this young girl on Twitter and you know, I'm sure you've seen her. She X or whatever it is. I'm like the last guy. I just can't. It's just something about calling it X. I can't do it. It's weird. But I know that she had certainly been preyed upon. And I mean, and I've said this before, when I did my movie I Am That Man, I wrote, directed, produced, and starred in it. And the only reason why I put my son in it was because he's got a photographic memory, so he could just learn all the lines. And I knew that he would turn up on time and I wouldn't have to deal with awkward parents. So I put him in the film. And the moment he was in, like, the agents, you know, were flocking around him and they were like, we want your son, we want your son. I was like, no chance. There's no way I'm going to let my son go into Hollywood. Not a chance. And I, you know, I mean, it's quite clear, you know, that there are, I think it's like anything. It's like the Boy Scouts. And you've seen these opportunities for, you know, predators to go into these roles because that's their focus. And I think that Hollywood is no different. You know, it's all about power, right? So I didn't want my kids anywhere near that. And again, one of the reasons why I've moved out of Hollywood is